Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're diving deep into the latest, pretty substantial update for Black Desert Online. This one just dropped August 29th, and yeah, this isn't just some minor tweak. We're really talking about a strategic rebalance here. It touches, well, almost every part of the game. It definitely demands some new thinking from, everyone. Guild leaders, eyeing conquest, solo players looking for what's next. So our mission today, it's pretty clear. We're going to dig into the most critical changes, straight from the official patch notes. And more importantly, we'll try to translate what they actually mean for you, the player. We'll cover combat balance, quality of life stuff, basically how these shifts might force you to rethink your strategies. Yeah, this update is packed. So let's get into it.
Okay, kicking things off with something big, the shifting sands of battle, specifically the changes coming to Node and Conquest Wars, BDOs, huge guild versus guild PvP stuff. This really feels like a major strategic rebalance for how territory control works. So what are we seeing with Fortress HP adjustments?
And what's the immediate strategic impact for guilds planning their moves?
Right. Well, the core thing to grasp here is what the developers seem to be aiming for. They're actively engineering strategic differences between regions for these objectives. They're increasing HP in some places, but significantly decreasing it elsewhere, which means guilds probably can't just rely on the same old siege tactics everywhere anymore.
Ah, okay. So region matters more now.
Exactly. For example, fortresses in Balenos and Serendia, they're getting about a 10.5% HP boost, and Calfia and Camasilvia around 4.5% increase. So that kind of signals maybe more drawn-out fights there, endurance battles requiring, heavier offense.
Hyper grind, potentially.
Potentially, yeah. But then get this. Media and Valencia fortresses, their HP is actually going down by about 16.5%.
Oh, wow. That's a big drop.
It is. It suggests those regions might become targets for, quicker, more decisive strikes, encouraging more aggression, faster fights maybe. And there's also reinforcement for the Rose War Holy Relics and monsters. Their defense is up by around 8.7%. That just adds another tactical layer, right? Makes those objectives a bit tougher, maybe encourages more coordination.
It definitely sounds dynamic, but I wonder, could those HP decreases in Media and Valencia accidentally make things more chaotic, attract too much conflict, especially for smaller guilds?
That's a fair point. It could definitely concentrate the fighting in those zones if everyone's looking for a quicker win.
Yeah.
But, the flip side is maybe smaller guilds do have a better shot there now. A well-timed, precise strike might work better than getting ground down in a high HP siege elsewhere. Kind of diversifies the battlefield, offering different challenges based on where you are.
Okay, interesting. So beyond the forts themselves, we're also seeing these pretty significant stat limit adjustments for the limited node and conquest wars. Tier 1 node wars, the recommended APDP jumped from 550 up to 616. That's quite a bit.
It is.
And damage reduction also went up, 311 to 335, plus the rate from 14% to 20%. These aren't small changes.
No, definitely not minor tweaks. Those shifts are a direct response to the recent combat system overhaul and that updated damage formula. They're clearly trying to rebalance the playing field there.
So what does that feel like in practice?
Well, putting those numbers in perspective, players should probably expect Tier 1 fights to feel noticeably tankier, maybe more impactful hits needed. You'll need roughly 10% more AP and that boosted DR to feel competitive. It really does raise the bar for entry a bit.
Right. Is it too high now?
Well, the good news, especially for players who've maybe finished seasonal progression like full PE and Tuvala gear, these new limits are still pretty achievable with gear you get from, existing challenges and quests. You won't need anything super extreme to participate, which is probably reassuring for a lot of people.
Okay, that is reassuring for many. But what about, say, a truly new player or someone still pretty far from that PE and Tuvala stage? Does this still create a bigger hurdle for even Tier 1 wars?
Well, for brand new players, yeah, there's always going to be a curve, right? But I think the focus here is more on those mid-game players, the ones who've done the seasonal stuff. It makes sure Tier 1 stays competitive for that group and doesn't just get rolled by people with way better gear while still, giving newer players something clear to aim for.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's shift gears a bit then. Item balancing, specifically magic crystals. It sounds like the devs noticed that PvP builds relying heavily on damage reduction were just too strong.
Exactly. And this isn't just like tweaking a number, it feels more like a statement, specialize or get left behind. BDO seems to be actively dismantling that jack-of-all-trades crystal setup.
How are they doing that?
They've introduced this new increased damage reduction group for crystals. And now you can only equip a maximum of 2 crystals from this group.
Hard cap.
A hard cap, yeah. It forces you to commit your crystal setup more decisively. Either dedicated PvP damage reduction or optimized PvE stats. So for instance, crystals like the Abundant Magic Crystal Iron Armor or the Black Magic Crystal Gobelius, those are now in this specific PvPDR group.
Okay, so it forces a choice. What about the PvE side then? Are those players losing out?
No, actually, what's quite interesting here is that the PvE-focused crystals, like the Resilient Unyielding Crystal, they're changing the all damage reduction effect on those to a stronger monster damage reduction.
Oh, interesting. So PvE gets better DR against monsters.
Potentially, yes. Like an all damage reduction +3 might become something like monster damage reduction +5. So you can still optimize heavily for PvE, get even more monster DR. But if you want that high DR in PvP, you're limited to those 2 slots from the other group. It really pushes players towards specialized builds rather than one setup trying to do everything.
Yeah.
Deeper tactical choices, basically.
Gotcha. And a practical note for everyone listening, mark your calendars. For those who swap crystal presets a lot, the 8 affected crystals, they'll be unequipped and sent to your Black Spirits gift box on September 3rd. Should make it easier to adjust your presets without, losing anything in the shuffle.
Good heads up.
And while we're on crystals, quick mention of Solaris Spear exclusives.
Right, some fine-tuning there too.
Yeah, 3 shoe crystals, the red Battlefield Adamantine, Fighting Spirit, and Giant ones, they're being removed completely. And that Missing Captain's Crystal Voyage. It's changing from all resistance plus 10% to a flat max HP plus 350 bonus.
And this all ties back to that bigger picture, right? Fine-tuning PvP and PvE balance. Making sure each item, each crystal, has a clear intended role. The devs are obviously watching how people use gear and trying to stop any single build from becoming too dominant. Keeps things fresh.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've covered the battlegrounds, the gear. Let's zoom in on the fighters themselves. How are these changes reshaping the characters we actually play? What's happening with Sorceress, for example?
Sorceress, yeah, the biggest change there is the mental power scaling, that proportional additional damage. It's been removed from some core skills.
Yeah.
We're talking Long Night /2, Gen, Long Night /Strong, Long Night /
So that simplifies gearing a bit.
Probably, yeah. But to compensate, the raw damage numbers on those skills are going up significantly. Like Long Night /2 goes from 537% times 2 up to 644% times 2.
That sounds pretty beefy.
It is. That's like, what, roughly a 20% raw damage increase on a key skill. So Sorc should hit noticeably harder with those abilities now, even without stacking mental power gear. Makes their baseline damage much more potent. Plus, the Nitro skill. It's being improved for more reliable landings when you're not using it constantly in the air. Suggests maybe a smoother, more fluid feel to aerial combat, which is, pretty key for positioning and combos for Sorc.
That's a good point. Okay, so Sorceress gets refined. What about Wukong? Similar rebalancing, or is there something totally new happening there?
Wukong players, yeah. It's all about new stuff for you. Your class is getting Rabam's Enlightenment. Now, for anyone who hasn't messed with this system, these are basically powerful skill specializations you unlock at higher levels, let you create unique builds.
Ah, the combined skills.
Exactly. They're coming at levels 56, 57, and 58 for Wukong. Think of skills like Pierce Through or Skyward Climb getting totally new dimensions. And on top of that, they're adding Black Spirit's Rage, extended skills, using 10%, 25%, 50% rage, like Black Spirit. Torch.
Okay, so that adds a lot more options.
It really does. It raises that question, right? How will these new choices actually redefine Wukong's combat strategy? Robam gives you those crucial choices for customizing your playstyle, allows for more build diversity. And the Black Spirit skills add significant burst or control options, add strategic depth to when and how you use your rage. It definitely encourages experimenting.
Cool. So beyond Sorc and Wukong, looks like a bunch of other classes are getting tweaks too, mostly focused on combat fluidity and consistency.
That seems to be the theme, yeah.
Like Giants getting faster rotation speed for evasion and Iron Cannon stance, and longer rotation time for flow, Burst Cannon and flow, Ancient Wave, making movement smoother.
Less clunky, more responsive.
Rangers.
Yeah.
Their Wind Ride skill won't cause collision anymore while moving and can go down slopes now. More fluid travel. Valkyrie's Lancia training side move won't attack anymore. Smoother skill links there. And even Deadeye's Connery's gift gets a keybind tweak. Left click plus right click now. More convenient.
Yeah, the common thread across all these is definitely refining the feel and the flow of combat. These aren't always about just raw power buffs. Often it's about making abilities more reliable, more intuitive to use. And even just standardizing skill descriptions across classes that helps reduce confusion, makes info easier to find. It's kind of a holistic approach to class balance.
Okay, let's shift gears again, moving away from the nitty-gritty of combat to the broader world and those enhancements that just make the journey smoother. What stands out to you in these quality of life improvements? For me, one major navigation upgrade jumps right out: the world map, the M-Key map. It can now actually guide you through the nearest abyssal, well, the fast travel things to get to distant places faster.
Yeah, that's huge.
Absolute game changer. You just need to have done the Magnus quest line, the Magnus box from the Abyssus quest to unlock this feature.
Yeah, that's a really significant quality of life boost for just getting around. BDO's world is massive, right? And just traveling across it can take a serious amount of time.
Tell me about it.
So integrating the wells into the map navigation like that, it's going to drastically cut down travel time for long-distance quests or just moving between grinding spots. It basically means less time spent just running and more time actually playing, especially if you're tackling quests far away or trying new zones. Really streamlines the whole journey, lets you focus on the adventure, not the commute.
Exactly. And speaking of grinding spots, the Edania region is getting some nice improvements too, making combat there more efficient, more strategic. Like at Nymphomere Castle, monsters, the Coral Naga Priest, Guard, Trickster, they'll spawn faster now, and their return home behavior is better. Tricksters will apparently move closer to you for better attack accuracy, which is interesting.
Less chasing, hopefully.
Right. And there's a cool strategic bit. Killing a Coral Naga Priest actually debuffs nearby guards and tricksters, reduces their morale and defense.
Oh, nice. Like a priority target mechanic.
Yeah. Plus, killing a Coral Dreamfish now kills the nearby ones too. Super efficient clearing.
Okay, so what's fascinating there is thinking about how that changes the grind, right? At Nymphomere, the faster spawns, that debuff mechanic. It means a more dynamic, potentially faster grind if you play it smart. Imagine logging in after this patch, and suddenly your usual rotation feels even smoother, more effective. That's the kind of shakeup we're seeing.
And over at Orbita Castle, there are changes to the destruction state mechanics, that phase where parts of the boss become vulnerable. For the Orbita Light Tomb and Faith Tomb, the Light Tomb, for instance, triggers its destruction state at 75% HP now, instead of 50%.
Okay, so earlier trigger.
Yeah, but their total HP is increased by 100%, though the actual damage needed during the destruction state stays the same. Kind of weird.
Interesting balance. Trigger it sooner, but the overall fight might take similar time, just structured differently. You need to see how that plays out.
Exactly. And for weekly quests, the Lusaka boss in the qualification for the throne, Nymphomere's quest, its HP is down by 20%.
That's just a straight up make it faster change. That weekly will feel less like a chore, letting people finish it quicker and move on. It definitely encourages players to try out these zones again, experiment with the new mechanics and flow.
And they're adding more reasons to go there too, right? New weekly quests in Edania, like weekly Purify Etherean and weekly Purify Nymphomere, specific monster targets, specific rewards. Just gotta remember, you can only have one of these active at a time.
Right. Keeps you focused on one area per week, probably.
And finally, rounding things out, there's a whole bunch of those smaller but still important quality of life adjustments, just smoothing out the daily experience.
The unsung heroes of patches sometimes.
Totally. For guild folks, there are new notification settings for member enhancement results and life level ups. That's handy. UI gets clearer too, a new shortcut key for the event UI, unified descriptions for weight limit increase items, just less confusion.
Always welcome.
Plus some key bug fixes, like Clarence's bag now correctly includes the improved telescope, which is great, and a fix for that Imperial horse delivery issue from Partrizio's shop not giving the mysterious traces of magic. They're planning compensation too, apparently.
Good on them for fixing that and making it right.
Yeah, things like that. Plus numerous other UI, navigation, visual fixes. They all add up, make the whole experience just a bit more pleasant.
Absolutely. Those QOL updates, yeah, they might seem less flashy than class changes or Node War stuff, but they really impact your day-to-day play. Clearer UI, smoother navigation, fixing annoying bugs. It all shows a commitment to polish and just making the game convenient. It's about respecting your time as a player, making this huge world feel more approachable and, well, enjoyable on that fundamental level.
Wow, okay. That was quite the deep dive into this August 29th update for Black Desert Online. We've covered a ton from that strategic rebalancing and node and conquest wars demanding new tactics.
big shifts there.
To the really impactful character updates, like for Sorceress and those exciting new skills for Wukong. And we can't forget all the quality of life stuff, like the Abyssal Well navigation finally being integrated and those hunting ground improvements, making the whole journey better.
Indeed. And what's really fascinating, I think, is seeing how this continuous development keeps the game feeling, well, fresh and challenging. Every single adjustment, whether it's a tiny bug fix or a massive class rework, it contributes to this constantly evolving player experience. It makes sure the world of Black Desert stays dynamic. It requires you, the player, to adapt, to experiment, to keep refining your strategies, which, raises an important question. With all these dynamic changes constantly happening, how do you see these ongoing adjustments shaping your own long-term strategies and goals within Black Desert, both in, combat and exploration?
That's a fantastic question to chew on. With so many significant changes rolling out, now is definitely the perfect time to jump back into the game, feel them out firsthand, and maybe discover some brand new strategies for yourself. We'll catch you next time on The Deep Dive.